What made your entire school go silent in the middle of the day? I was in calculus when the intercom clicked on, and Principal Davis started speaking in a voice I'd never heard from him before. Attention all students and staff. Please remain in your classrooms. This is not a drill. We are in a full administrative lockdown effective immediately. Teachers, check your emails now. The intercom clicked off. Our teacher, Mr. Bradley, walked to his computer with his coffee still in hand. He set it down, opened his email, and the color drained from his face so fast I thought he was having a stroke. He looked up at us, then back at the screen, then at us again. Nobody move, nobody leave. He locked the classroom door, pulled the shade over the window, and told us to stay calm. Someone asked what was happening. He said he couldn't tell us. Someone else asked if it was a shooter. He shook his head. It's not a shooter. That's all I can say right now. His hands were shaking. I'd never seen Mr. Bradley scared of anything. He coached football and once broke up a fight between two seniors without flinching. Now he looked like he was about to cry. We sat there for 20 minutes in complete silence. No phones worked. Later we'd find out the school had activated some kind of signal jammer usually reserved for standardized testing. All we could do was sit and wait and watch Mr. Bradley refresh his email over and over. Then we heard footsteps in the hallway. A lot of them. Heavy, deliberate, moving fast. Mr. Bradley held up his hand. Nobody say a word. Through the gap under the door, we could see shadows passing. Then voices. Police radios. Someone said, "Third floor clear. Moving to fourth." Another said, "Confirm all staff accounted for." Then nothing. More silence. 10 more minutes passed before the intercom clicked on again. Principal Davis's voice had changed again. "Teachers, please escort your students to the gymnasium immediately. Use the east stairwell only. Do not stop for any reason." We walked in single file down 4 flights of stairs. Every classroom we passed was empty. Every hallway was silent, except for our footsteps. When we reached the gymnasium, the entire school was already there. 200 students sitting on the bleachers in complete silence. The police were everywhere. Not just school resource officers. Real cops, detectives in plain clothes, and people in suits who looked federal. Principal Davis stood at center court with a microphone, flanked by 2 officers. What he said next changed everything. "This morning, we received credible information that a member of our staff has been operating an illegal operation on school grounds. A police investigation has been ongoing for several weeks. Today, that investigation concluded. Nobody breathed. A member of our staff, not a student, one of the people we trusted." Principal Davis continued, "I cannot share specific details, but I can tell you that no students are in danger. The individual has been taken into custody. School will dismiss early today. Parents have been notified." He looked like he'd aged 10 years overnight. He handed the microphone to a detective. The detective said one sentence. "If anyone has information about unusual activities involving staff members, please speak with an officer before leaving. Information, activities, staff members." The words hung in the air. Everyone started looking at each other, mentally running through every teacher, every coach, every counselor, trying to figure out who was missing. That's when I noticed. Mr. Vance wasn't in the gym. The chemistry teacher. The one everyone loved because he let students eat lunch in his lab and always had candy on his desk. The one who drove a car way too nice for a teacher's salary. The one who stayed late every single day, supposedly grading papers. I looked at my friend Derek. He noticed too. His face went white because he'd been staying late with Mr. Vance for extra credit all semester. So had about 15 other students. Later that night, the news broke everything wide open. Mr. Vance had been manufacturing drugs in the school's chemistry lab after hours. Not small amounts, industrial quantities. He'd been using the school's ventilation system, the school's equipment, the school's chemicals. The extra credit students had unknowingly been helping him clean and organize supplies. He'd been operating for 3 years. 3 years of cooking in a high school while teenagers sat in the next room. The feds estimated he'd made over $4 million. When they arrested him that morning, he was wearing his favorite periodic table tie and had a quiz ready to hand out. The craziest part wasn't even the drug lab. It was what happened when they searched his classroom. Behind a false wall in the storage closet, police found something else. Files on students. Hundreds of files. Photos, home addresses, family information, schedules, not just current students, students going back years. When reporters asked the detective what the files were for, he said they were still investigating, but the current theory was that Mr. Vance had been selling information to people who used it for identity theft targeting minors. He wasn't just making drugs, he was harvesting our data and selling it to criminals. Every kid who'd ever taken his class, every kid who'd signed up for his after-school tutoring, every kid who'd trusted him enough to share personal information, we were all potentially compromised. The school offered free credit monitoring for every student and former student going back 5 years. I got my first fraud alert 6 weeks later. Someone in another state tried to open a credit card in my name. Mr. Vance took a plea deal to avoid trial and got 25 years federal. The school installed cameras in every classroom and banned teachers from being alone with students after hours.